What's your take on like screen time?
Could do whole podcast
What
on
is
this.
screen time?
So difficult. Okay, this much time I'm going to put it on, and then we are going to stop. Do not do it for soothing them or calming them down. Don't like put it on just to. So you have to teach them how to calm down on its own. So don't use it as a soother. You have to be there.
What's the ideal temperature for kids to sleep?
People will not like it. So I would say between 67 and 70.
This is Fahrenheit.
When they are newborns, they have brown fat that is burnt a lot to produce heat. So everything keeps the baby nice and warm. So 67 to 70 is a comfortable temperature for them.
I have had two boys, and both are complete different spectrum. So
I always say, like, pregnancy, everybody goes through it and it's tough time, but parenting is the toughest of all.
the CDC versus AAP's recommendation for the vaccine, right? CDC recently said that there were some vaccines which were not required and that they reduced their number. Your recommendation still says all of those vaccines are kind of required, or you should have the vaccines.
So when they came up with this immunization schedule, what they saw is the best practices that lead to the best immunity for the child as well as the community. The reason why it is done so early and why we insist on it.
The hardest thing you will ever have to really ensure is about them eating food, like vegetables, and like any tips or tricks.
I will say this, okay? And nobody's going to like it. But you have to leave them alone. Don't obsess. No. Don't obsess on the right nutritional value, how much calories, how much protein. Leave them alone.
Okay.
You know why? I'll tell you why.
Today I am thrilled to welcome Dr. Gauri Bhagwat, a board-certified pediatrician and a fellow of American Academy of Pediatrics, who has been caring for children in New Jersey for over 2 decades. She trained in India and England, completed a residency at St. Peter's University Hospital, and now runs a Little Wonders Pediatrics in Somerset, New Jersey. A practice built on belief that raising healthy children means partnering with the whole family. I'm really excited for this. It's going to be a masterclass in, parenting and kids. So let's get into the conversation. Dr. Bhagwat, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous are you right now?
About
10
an
being the
8.
most.
8.
8? Okay. All right. That's perfectly fine. Let's see when we end where you are and how much fun you have. Which I'm guessing you're going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to have a lot of fun because we have never had, first of all, a doctor.
Okay.
And children is such a hot topic these days.
That's right.
And me and Shivani have had our journey with you,
Right.
where you have seen us grow, hopefully. And
I've seen your kids grow too.
oh yes, and so rightly, like I mean, you have been our go-to person for like years now, and we have learned so much from you. And when in conversation with you, when we used to see you, and the kind of information you used to share, we didn't knew a lot of those information that you used to give us, and that used to amaze me a lot. And there's always perfect timing for everything, and we feel like this will do justice to you, the timing that you are in right now. And I'm very excited to talk to you about things.
Oh, thank you so much for choosing me and trusting me with your family. And it means a lot.
Absolutely. And so again, like I said, right, a lot of things, this podcast is about like having conversation. And our line says curiosity meets conversation. So we are always coming from an angle of, we're just curious to know your point of view. So everything you say will also let the audience, you guys still do your research. This is just our version, your version of like trying to explain people
Right.
how to deal with certain situations or things, right, that we're going to bring up.
Right.
So before we start anything, my very first question is like, what's the ideal temperature for kids to sleep?
People will not like it. So I would say between 67 and 70.
Okay.
Or even lower. Especially in US because we co-sleep a lot, especially in our culture. And if you have it really hot and you're sleeping with your child, it does disturb sleep. So ideal sleep temperature for adults is around 65. They say you get the best sleep in that temperature. Since we come from a warmer place, so then I give you a leeway of 67, 70, but don't make it too hot.
This is Fahrenheit. Normally, when you hear some people say, "Oh, I feel really cold. I like to sleep in like warm warm at temperature.
Yeah.
Like kids had a certain fat that makes them like sweat. So when they're kicking off the blanket and everything,
Absolutely.
their body is normally used to cold more.
Yes. So when they're newborns, that time is a little different. So that time we always say, in the first 2 to 3 weeks of life, you always put a hat on the baby if you have it at 67, 70, because they do lose a lot of heat and most of the babies are not born with a ton of hair. And if your child has hair, then you can leave it as is. And they have brown fat, which is a different fat from us. We don't have that. And that is burnt a lot to produce heat. So it does keep them warm, but not as warm. So when you're bringing your child out, definitely you need to wrap them up. When they are making the child sleep, we still, if you remember, we tell you to swaddle because it helps to, resemble the womb. It helps to keep the baby warm. So we are swaddling, we're putting the onesie on, we are also putting the hat on. So in those newborn period, we are kind of keeping everything warmer in this country. And we have the diapers. And so, so everything keeps the baby nice and warm. So 67 to 70 is a comfortable temperature for them. If you make it little more warmer, yes, they will kick off they have disturbed sleep because they start crying. So one of the reasons why they tell the parents, like, you have the reasons why babies cry. And one of the reasons is if they're too hot or too cold. And most of the times they're too hot because, they're swaddled. You are doing skin to skin, you're breastfeeding, you're holding the baby all the time. And then you put them down, you wrap them up, you put a blanket, you have a onesie, especially in, our New Jersey. Everything is so cold that we make sure the kids are warm. So yeah, that's something to consider. Yeah.
And you brought a very interesting point about swaddling kids, right? I have had two boys, and both are complete different spectrum. So one, I remember swaddling him for a couple of months, and he was on and off. He was okay sometimes not. Second one, I can tell you, I can do it on my one hand, how many times I would have swaddled him, and I gave up. I didn't, like 3 to 4 times, maybe maximum.
Yes.
In hospital, they were swaddling him. But even from the hospital shift, the younger one would just kick out everything. He would not want anything on him, right?
Yes.
And we used to get worried. We're like, okay, why is he not
following?
You do compare because you hear from people, you should swaddle your kids. This is the standard.
Right.
And he used to not do it. But second time, we were a little bit aware that, okay, so a lot of things are like not materialistic things for you to worry about.
Yes.
So we never worried about swaddling him after that because he was just not cooperating or keeping it on.
Yeah.
And we tried different types of swaddles on him to see if one is better versus the other.
Right.
But just gave up. And can you talk like what's like swaddling is just for them to stay cozy?
Yes. So, I always say, like, pregnancy, everybody goes through it and it's tough time, but parenting is the toughest of all. And it is a game of, guessing. So like you rightly said, one thing works for one child. Same parents, tried the same trick for one child. Even with twins, we have that. One will have this, one does not like. And that if the swaddle makes your child comfortable, and he's able to sleep well or she is able to sleep well, then you go for it. There are other kids who absolutely hate it and they will cry or they are uncomfortable. And of course, even if the book will say, oh, you must swaddle the baby for the first 2 weeks to get a deep sleep, if your child hates it, then your child hates it.
Right. There's nothing you can do about it.
There's nothing you can do about it. Then, commercially, they make these sleep sacks and they have these, the one which have Velcro on it, that the child doesn't get a choice. And eventually the child gets used to it. But when we do the blanket wrap, it's not so tight that the child, if he doesn't like it, they will, knock their hands out and their legs out and they will get out. So it depends on the child. But the reason we say to do it in the first 2 weeks is because they're just right out of the womb. They're just acclimatizing to the new environment. They like being held inside, and that swaddle mimics the womb, and that's why.
Okay, awesome. A lot of good information around it. So you should do it, but if it doesn't work, then don't panic over it.
Don't panic.
You have other things to worry about.
So many.
Perfect. This is also for growth, like even if you have like kids or don't have kids, or if you're in the process of having kids, all this information today will be like gem for those people, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's switch. Let's talk about something that's happening today in the world right now, right? It's about the CDC versus AAP's recommendation for the vaccine, right? CDC recently said that there were some vaccines which were not required and that they reduced their number, I think from 17 to 11 or 10 or something, right?
Right.
And then the AAP, which is what you are a fellow of.
Yes.
And I would like to talk a little bit about that as well. And your recommendation still says all of those vaccines are kind of required, or you should have the vaccines for the kids, right?
Yes.
Why do you contradict the CDC?
Okay. So AAP works mostly with the kids. They are working with the kids. They are doctors who worked in the hospitals. They have put their life on for just the kids. They're not scientists, but they are kids who work with the kids, and they have seen proof in various ways. So when they came up with this immunization schedule, what they saw is the best practices that lead to the best immunity for the child as well as the community. So the reason we start doing immunizations very early, it's like, how you teach your child ABCs, or you teach your child to babble first and then talk. So when we do immunization earlier in childhood, it's a way of teaching your body to produce immunity or the fighter cells for better impact for further diseases. Okay, so it is literally like they are coding and they're making cells, the fighter cells, and that's the reason the crucial time, if you remember rightly, they grow out of clothes so quickly, right?
Yes.
You buy onesie is done in a month, they are changing. And now if you see, the growth is so slow, and now you don't ask Dr. Bhagwat, is he gaining weight? Because it's going to be like slow. So that's why the reason why it is done so early and why we insist on it is all the vaccines, the way they have been put up, like at birth, at 1 month, 2 months.
Yeah.
Yes, it's because they produce the best immunity at that time.
Okay, I see.
And then as you have given this blueprint for the body, this is how you have to create antibodies. There are hundreds of other diseases we don't have vaccines for. We have vaccines for these 10, 11 diseases, which are the dangerous ones, which can cause either disability, like polio will cause disability, or death, like tetanus will cause death. Or, there are whooping cough, which causes, if you get it in childhood, you can, and it's a cough. Like, there are so many kids who have whooping cough even now in schools. And if it's a sibling of a young, who has a younger brother, if you pass it to the baby literally chokes. And if you remember, we have no medications for the babies in the under 1 year of age, 2 year of age. If your child has cough, I can't really help you.
Right.
So what we are doing is, the way we are doing it is just making a blueprint for those vaccines. So the AAP and the New Jersey state law says that whatever we have seen as a proof that works good for the kids' protection is what we are going to still recommend.
Right.
We are not going to go on some, Netherlands or Finland's vaccine recommendation.
Okay.
Because it's a different country.
Yeah.
Okay? The culture is very different.
Right.
We are a country of immigrants. We in New Jersey, every second person is different, from a different country, different language. We are heavily populated.
Very diverse as well.
We are diverse. Our mothers do not get leave for 1 year.
Right.
Okay. Nobody is sitting with a child with a paid paycheck coming to them for a year.
Yes.
The culture is completely different. They have the healthcare is free. Okay. Your child gets sick, you are taken care of without any problems there. So if you have to compare all this, you have to compare it on equal grounds. You have to make sure that you're providing healthcare. You're making sure the mothers are taken care of. You're providing them with leave so their children are not exposed to daycare at young age. Because here, there are moms who are leaving home at 4 weeks.
Right.
Okay. They don't have, this is not India. They don't have a lot of social support.
Right.
They have to go back. And if you are going to put in some things that make the child, like I will talk about hepatitis B, okay? Because that's what they have been talking about. Because I had a case recently. The parents refused hepatitis B. It's their personal choice. And how is hepatitis B spread? It is spread through, they said, IV drug use, sexual contact, and blood contact. Okay, so where is my baby going to get that? You're right. Where is your baby going to get that? All of us think we are going to protect the baby, right? We are not going to make him sick. But, things happen. That kid got super sick, super, super sick. Okay, it was just a cold. It wasn't anything. And if you remember, I always say under 1 month, very old-fashioned me, wear your mask, limit your visitors, don't make your child fall sick.
Exposed to
Whatever reasons,
unnecessary
things, the baby got sick, unfortunately, was admitted in the hospital, had to get where all the blood work done. So the baby was getting poked and blood work done all the 3-4 days.
Wow.
How are we going to know? The hospital is full of germs. It's full of everybody who is high risk. So, things happen. So what I'm trying to say is, as of now, we recommend the vaccines as per schedule. We have not found that any alternative schedule helps to limit diseases. Because again, how I'd like to say is, immunization is not just an individual decision. It is a decision of the community. By immunizing your child, you are making sure not only your child doesn't fall sick, but it also doesn't spread the disease to a neighbor or a friend. So you are making sure that the whole community will be protected. So you're not just doing it for yourself. You're doing it for the community. And they always argue, oh, but my child never falls sick. Yes, because your child is surrounded by people who are immunizing you. They're surrounded by people. You get similar people like you who don't vaccinate. You get measles outbreak like we are seeing in Texas. You get whooping cough outbreak. We were so proud that we had almost eliminated measles in America, but no longer. We're going back. We are so. If everybody starts thinking only about themselves and not about everybody else, it's about everybody. So you have to kind of, there are so many children who cannot get vaccinated, but we as humans, we protect them because we are all immunized, so we don't fall sick, so they don't fall sick.
So two things come to my mind on this topic, There are believers in vaccine and then there are non-believers in vaccine. I feel believers are more, and hence the reason why you just gave that because people have antibodies and they are protected, they still can be carriers to give you the disease. Isn't that also?
No, so you will not. So if you are exposed, you're like a wall. You're not going to let that disease penetrate. So for example, I'll give you easy example, chicken pox. Okay. All of us were not vaccinated for chicken pox back home. Even UK still doesn't have chicken pox vaccination. But if God forbid you come in or I come in contact with anybody with chicken pox, I'm not going to fall sick because I got chicken pox when I was younger. Okay. But what I'm exposed to is shingles, which is a variant of chicken pox. Okay. But I will not give it to my, say, a newborn patient that I have seen. Because I saw another patient with chickenpox. I have another coming newborn who's got chickenpox. But because I am immune, either by disease or vaccination, I'm not going to be passing it to the newborn. That's what I'm saying.
I see. Okay.
So, So, but having said that, when people have shingles and they are with the newborn, yes, you will, like if you're a close contact with the people with shingles and you are going to have skin to skin contact with that newborn, then again, it's a very high risk and we have a whole schedule to follow. So each disease is different. I just gave you an example of a common one because we were not vaccinated back home with chickenpox.
That's good to know, because that normally, different people in universities who are like non-degree doctors, they kind of also give you, and again, a lot of people fall into the trap of thinking, okay, I don't believe in vaccination. I like to, let my body build its own immunity and fight it. And then some people might get lucky in that instance that they never come into a contact or they just don't get the disease. But people will get the disease at some point if they do not.
Yes. So let me put it in a different way. So, how we have software update in our phones. So we are updating our software. We don't know if virus is going to come or not, We are just going to update our software. And then what it does is it will protect us in a certain way to limit the exposure to whatever bad virus is coming. Vaccines are like software update. You are just making sure you will get exposed, not get exposed. It's the same thing. Does every software update harm your body, your phone?
No.
But it's just reminding your immune system, hey, you can make antibodies to this.
Right.
Hey, this is how you do it. This is what you do. And it's like literally, it's like teaching your body to read, to write, to code. That's how it is doing.
Right.
There is, and the adjuvants, and I feel like I must say that the vaccines are the most tested medications in modern medicine.
Right.
These have been there. We all got vaccinated. There are very few new ones came, like COVID came in, or there are some more HPV. So there are some certain new ones, but the ones that we are vaccinating the babies under the 2 years, they have been there for at least 50 to 80 years. Like all of us have received it. Even our parents have received it in some form or the other.
Correct.
They're more, the only difference is that they have made it in such a way that the efficacy is better. That's all. And the side effects are lower.
Right. And it's also a science advancement.
Yes.
More variants can be caught quicker, and then they could be incorporated into your
like the flu vaccine.
Right.
Every year they say last year का flu काम नहीं करता है. Everybody's like क्यों नहीं काम करता है? It's the same year, you just have to update it. That's what it is all about.
And how I know this is because you told me this one years ago, so I remember this.
Yes,
why you do that?
And just remember, it's
questioned
just updating your system. You're updating your immune system. You're just doing a software update, just making sure everything is new and functioning and working good.
Correct. No, absolutely. One thing, again, this is because of my personal experience with you, right? I've seen other doctors. It's about like prescribing a medication, right? You are a believer that like you will not give a medication if it's not necessary or it's absolutely needed. And then the other hand, there are like doctors who will like just khila do, just give this and you'll be fine, just don't worry and why take a headache, right? Like talk about that. Why is one way absolutely not okay?
No, I think again, because when in the age group that I treat, most of them are viral infections, and the way the country we live in. Had I been practicing in India, it is a completely different ballgame. So this does not apply in India because there is more bacteria. It's a different ballgame. Here in US or even in England, I must say that I did practice 2 years in UK. And my way of practicing has been influenced by that. So because they have or even Canadian or UK, they have a free healthcare system.
Right.
So every doctor must explain why they have prescribing. And the way we were trained, if I prescribed amoxicillin for somebody with a cold, my boss would come and ask me to write like an essay. Why do you think it was? Or so most of the times it is a viral infection. We give your body to respond well, and see how they treat it. If they are not able, because even like I'm sure I've told, especially you, so many times, even the ear infection sometimes is viral. So let's wait 2 days. Let's see how he does. If they are able to get through it, fine. If it's third day, I can. I'll call it in for you. I definitely will do. And especially with younger ones, which I know, he cannot talk, doctor. How will he know that ear is hurting or there is something? But, there are signs and we can definitely treat it.
Right.
Now, the ones, I don't know why people, but I think it's about patience. And I think I'll go back to my training back in UK. And even here, they just say, wait, it's viral. Just let's wait. Let's see how it goes. Because again, just like how you don't want any injectables in your body, antibiotics have lots of side effects. They affect the gut. Already the kids don't eat when they're sick. When you start them on antibiotic, first thing is you have a change in taste, you don't feel like eating, you start having diarrhea. So antibiotics also come with a lot of side effects. So when you're not eating, as you know, your child's illness gets more prolonged because lack of hydration, poor food and nutrition just makes illness more prolonged and your child gets more sicker. So antibiotics not necessarily will make your child get better quickly. So you have to differentiate if it's a viral versus a bacterial thing.
And that's what we learned about like ear infection as well. I think for Zain, we learned it a bit later about like bacterial versus viral. And that's why we used to always feel like, amoxicillin was the go-to thing.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah.
Until and this is when we needed to come and see you.
Right.
During the first, one of my elder one had to be hospitalized because it was third or fourth month.
Yeah.
They ended up building this bacterial, and at that point of time, like you explained, right? You cannot prescribe medication like left, right, and center. So you have to. Then we had to really. He was then in the hospital for 5 days, where he had to go through that whole culture
Yes.
practice. They send the samples.
Yes.
Then they will find an antibiotic that will fit that particular bacteria if it's amongst those thousands of bacteria that
Right.
it is
Right.
for this available. Then when it came into your contact after that.
Right.
And then once we got to you, like you explained everything for in detail. That's why we feel like, we are like a second-hand explainers of things or situations. And we panic so much less with second one is because we know the practice,
I
the
think
process.
second time, you know the process.
Yeah.
And I feel like, and it all comes out of love. I mean,
Right.
what you did, what any parents do when they worry, they panic, it's out of love and helplessness for the child. And I
Yes.
completely get it, because you feel like, how can I help my baby?
Right.
They are in so much of pain. How what can I do? And, sometimes giving them that medicine makes you feel, okay, you have like a trust, no, this medicine will make my child feel better. So I know that
Right.
you feel like that, but
Right.
again, it's about, just doing the right thing.
I'll tell you a funny story for you to listen. It's sad for me because what happened was, St. Peter's, where you practice, right?
Yeah,
In
trained.
New Jersey,
I
right?
trained, yeah.
You trained there. It was so bad with rain that the guy in the valet, he used to know me personally.
Oh no.
Because we used to go there at nights and we used to panic run in ER. Because ER would take the kids right away.
Right.
For adults, like you have to wait for hours or sometimes like.
So true.
So he used to know me by name, and when I used to go there, it's like, Vale? I'm like, yeah, I don't know how. And once you go in, and when your kid is under 1 year of age, they go through all the tests.
Yes.
Because they can't just let you go without just giving you a Tylenol or something and then telling you to go and see your pediatrician, right? So it was so bad that, used to go with and then when I went for Shiv once, because I think it is I think through ER we have only been like once or twice max for Shiv. Otherwise, you would not even go to ER. And that guy was telling me everything is becoming. I think you were growing as a parent. I'm like, yeah, man. We have been here so many times for my elder one that we really know when to like not run and just stay steady and calm.
Yeah.
And just do the basic things right. Like if you used to have fever, we used to run, and then we quickly and Zain used to get like those very high spike in fevers, and then you told us that put him under shower, and he used to get better right away because you put him in the shower. So it's about like awareness that you slowly, and it's parenting, like you said, is the hardest thing.
Totally.
I used to always
And it doesn't get better.
you keep telling yourself that every time somebody says, oh, they'll grow older. You keep telling yourself that.
No.
Every age comes with its own.
Yes, different age, different problems.
Exactly.
Doesn't
So
end.
now talking about problems, like just to put a perfect segue, let's talk about screen time. Right, it's a very first interesting topic I want to talk to you about, right?
Yes.
And we see like like younger kids, especially in the US, because in India, we, like you said, right, that social element is high because you let people go in your community and let them interact, right? And here, until we send them to the daycare where they are with other kids, they really have nothing to do. Plus, parents are like busy sometimes.
So true.
And we also get like mentally very tired sometimes. We have days. And the go-to thing is screen. What's your take on like screen time? First, let me just ask you in generic, and then I'll talk a specific question on it.
I could do a whole podcast
What
on
is
this.
screen time?
So difficult. And, so I'll be honest, I did read through AAP, and I'll tell you what. So back in when I was training, so 15 years ago, there was a strict rule, under 2, no screen time. And even if over 2, if there is screen time, not more than 2 hours a day. Okay. With time, everything has changed.
Right.
And now to say, I will still say under 6 months, please don't give child a screen time.
Okay.
Everything has changed. So they have these
Guidelines
for us, and they are the 5 C's. And if you want, I can go through them. I will go through them. I'll go through them for, should I do Shiv and Zain's age?
Yeah, let's do like a, so my question was specifically like, I was going to stay within like the 6-year range.
Yeah, under 6.
I
can do that.
My goal was first for that.
Yeah, so it's the 5 C's are, first is see your child itself. Okay. When they say see your child means, so obviously now we are looking at 12 months and up. Okay. Because then by 12 months, your child has a personality. So are you doing it while they are feeding them, or are you doing, or if your child likes music, are you just putting it on for the music, or like you said, sometimes there is no, parents are busy, so some kind of a social connection. So sometimes people are doing Skype calls or video calls.
Right.
So that is also screen time, right?
Correct.
So you cannot, like, you have to see what you're doing it for your child. So like going to a little older child is like, so say for example, your child is a little older and they like drawing. So yes, you can put on something for them to learn for how to draw. Or like my son was into Rubik's Cube. So we did have to put it on for, because me and my husband are not that great at Rubik's Cubes. And you know,
Right.
he learned to solve everything from there. So not all screen time you can say is really bad. Or there are some, there is learning to play an instrument. So
Right.
that goes to a little older age group. Or in young, Miss Rachel, right? Everybody who likes Miss Rachel. So there are some speech delays, and there are some cues that Miss Rachel will give between 12 months to 1 year. So you have to see that content. The second C is the content. So what content your child is consuming, you have to make sure that it is appropriate. And then you have to see that your child also has some calm time, or the next C is calm. So what it means is, if you switch it off and your child starts crying, gets irritated, which sometimes they do, that means that itself means that he's been on it for too long.
Right.
So they should know that, again, it will be more for 3 to 4 years old, that this much time I'm going to put it on, and then we are going to stop. Do not do it for soothing them or calming them down. Don't like put it on just to, so you have to teach them how to calm down on its own. So don't use it as a soother. You have to be there. So
Right.
hugging, just don't, if the child is crying, okay, stop, I'll put it on. Don't do that. Or while feeding, your child doesn't know if they're hungry or not. And just shoving food in their mouth while playing the Miss Rachel is not going to...
They're still distracted.
It's still distracted.
They don't know what they eat, how much they want to eat.
Yeah. So, and then, and also then look at the other things, like how much time will you spend with your children doing other things? Like, are you sitting down playing with them? Food, meal times. Again, I'll keep bringing meal times because it's so common that that it is switched on during meal times, because as you rightly said, we live in the country where parents are so much themselves overworked and they are overwhelmed, and I'm guilty of this too. So I totally agree with you. Like, as a young parent for my daughter who's 17 now, I did probably use that as a babysitter and to make her eat because she was a picky eater, whatever, but it's not right.
Yeah.
I mean, I confess I have done wrong things too, but we shouldn't be using it, because then they never realize when they're full, they don't enjoy the food, they don't have that connection with the food. And so meal times and stuff, don't use it.
Right.
And then make sure they have other things that they're doing it. So it's not all screen. So switching it off, having some imaginary play, some Lego blocks, some coloring on their own, some music play, something on their own, they have to still do it. And, just playing outside. I think that the problem is here, 6 months of winter really makes it difficult.
Makes it difficult. Yeah. I just heard like some very beautiful words that every parent who has a kid who is like between like 3, 4, 5, 6 years of age dying to hear, and they wish that in my lifetime I hear. And these words came off my elder one's mouth was that, when I was tired, I was exhausted. The scenario was that you either eat this, I'll do whatever it takes for you to eat this, or we're going to talk some other things, and I'm going to get you something that you really like, and I'm going to negotiate, and I'm just going to give in. And he said that, no, I don't want to watch iPad.
I know.
Every parent dreams to hear this.
I know.
And at the same time, not something like you said, they distract themselves. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, I just want to eat. And I had a moment. I'm like, he's
telling you what he wants. No,
I didn't think this time would ever come.
Yes,
right? you will discard. And he does that a lot lately because now he's getting into like drawings, and he's doing the tracing with Shivani, and he's changing now. He's evolving, and it's such a great thing. I was like, And I was like, please, and we didn't give Shiv like iPad until like over a year.
Yes.
We didn't expose him to the screen time.
No.
Same thing we did with Zain as well, but his was like longer time. We kept him away from screen.
Yes, because the only child, right? So you had more
Correct.
one-on-one time with him.
Correct.
So that is very typical.
Yeah.
So what I do want to say, so what I'm trying to say is, yes, it is inevitable that they will be on the media, they will be on the phone. So we just have to put in the limits ourselves. So if your child is using, so first of all, do not use YouTube. Even YouTube kids, they have these algorithms that they will watch and it keeps showing the things next. Then there's a lot of advertising going on. So switch it off. Have a time limit of how much you're going to put whatever you want to show them. Have a time limit that you want to do it. And then talk to them what they saw. Because sometimes what will happen is they are watching something and it's super scary. And I have these 2-3-year-olds who are screaming and in the night and they don't know what they watch because YouTube has a sneaky way of putting things in. And so, time limit, no algorithm, make sure it doesn't autoplay, and then just see what they are watching and make sure. So there are so many things. So back in the day, when my daughter was younger, we had just PBS Kids. So those content is very safe. So Sesame Street, PBS Kids, those Barney, or just like simple things from which the kids also learn. And it's not dangerous for them. So I would rather you guys like put on the channels that are meant for kids,
right?
Not YouTube kids.
Right.
YouTube is pretty dangerous. So I personally do not like that.
Right. No, this is always great information. I want to talk about like now child's curiosity side of it. Like kids are very curious, and when I'm in India, when I was growing up, in our childhood, right, kids when they eat like mud. Or they would like pick up something, and even they do it here as well. Like they pick up something, and the first thing is what they want to put in their mouth, and it's like it's something that I want to talk about. Like, is that like that? How do we look at that curiosity part of it when they?
So that's
do
a
this?
great question, because actually curiosity comes from imagination and having not been fed constant stimulation. So when will you be curious? When you're just sitting by yourself, staring at something, you look at something, you're interested, you want to go and see what that thing is, right? It doesn't come from when you are just constantly being entertained. Okay. So we had curiosity because we had no sense of entertainment. We used to be like, bahar jao, khelo, nahi to Doordarshan, I don't know what. There was nothing. There is nothing much.
Doordarshan was,
So in order for us to cultivate that curiosity, let your children get bored. That's the biggest thing. Let them look around, be outside, do some outside play whenever they are, because curiosity is the first step that leads to more imaginative play and more, developing of ideas and learning things by themselves, learning by experience. So you will touch that mud, you taste it, and then you learn, it's not that great,
right?
And you will throw it away.
Correct.
Or then, there will be phase, I don't know if your kids have, they love to pick up grass and rocks, and I don't know if it's a girl thing or more, but they love collecting things, and they're bird feathers, and there's so much in nature to go do.
Right.
So again, you have to get them bored, just make them go outside, and if you are in a safe neighborhood, playground, people, walk around the neighborhood, do things with them, splash in puddles, all those things.
Right.
That helps.
But you sort of very rightly said, like, that the 6 month, that the winter is what it becomes the hardest. And I feel like every parent is a showman, because to entertain your kids is the hardest thing you'll ever do.
Yeah.
And when you do that, it's really takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it does.
Keep them, and they adapt so quick right now that if I do the same funny thing to them again, they will be like, no,
it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, it's like you are like a monkey, and they're like dance monkey, keep them.
Yeah.
One of our cousins, they said that they also had kids, and we were asking them before we got parents. So like, what's the hardest thing? And obviously, me being me, I was like, waking up at night, I have a deep sleep was the hardest thing. He's like, no, that's not the hardest thing. The hardest thing you will ever have to really ensure is about them eating food, like vegetables, and like eating food in general, right? And and it's a challenge. And a lot of parents struggle with it. Any tips or tricks that you can share with us? So how do we feed them nutritious food?
I will say this, okay? and nobody's going to like it. But you have to leave them alone.
While they're eating?
Don't obsess. No. Don't obsess on the right nutritional value, how much calories, how much protein. Leave them alone.
Okay.
You know why? I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
So between after the milk is done, right? After first, like a majority of foods are, milk based till 1 year. After 1 year, I keep telling everybody, just reduce the milk, introduce whatever you guys eat. So there is a website, myplate.gov, it's a government website. I don't have it on me, but anyhow, what it shows you is, I can help you. If I remember, I'll tell you.
Right.
It shows you the portion size of how much a child should be eating. And it gives you, if you want to have the breakdown of how much fruits, how much vegetables, my plate will give you that for toddlers, for 1 year old, for 2 year old, for 3 year old. And yes, you can obsess on it and you can measure it out and you can be upset about, oh, they didn't eat that much. But I ask all parents, are you guys eating it?
Yeah.
Are you
True.
following that really?
Right.
So the best way for you or all of us to influence our children is to eat in front of them what you want them to eat. If you want them to eat fruits, you eat fruit. You
Right.
cut it up and say, hey, this is so delicious. I wish you want to try one. If they try one and they spit it out, it's okay. Next day, if you're eating the same thing, they will want to try it again. And the thing with kids is, the more you push them, because after 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, they have the sense of independence. They have their sense of self. They want to be important. They want to have their own voice. And that is what you want. You don't want yes man kids. You don't want a kid कि जो मैं बोलूँ वही हो. Like, I'm going to tell them, finish this plate. So that plate has to be clean. Why that expectation?
Right.
You want the child to experiment. You want them to have, I like this, I don't like this.
Right.
I like this fruit, because you might not like the same fruit as your mom. Right?
Correct.
I don't like the same fruit as my mom. My mom loves the custard apple, India mein jo milta hai.
I don't like it either. My mom
hate
loves it.
My mom loves it.
I get headache.
I have allergy with it, know. So what I'm trying to say is, when we love to obsess because on things that are not in our hand.
Right. Control.
We're not in our control,
Right.
because yes, the child has one thing that they can control, is that is their intake. They will absolutely refuse. And I tell this as a parent of a picky eater. My daughter was exactly that. She would give me a really hard time. And what I've learned over time is, the more we let her go, the more we said, hey, we are all eating this. Would you like to try? She said, no. Okay, don't worry about it. Then that's why. Then you tell me what you want to make. And then, initially it will be, oh, they eat the same thing. Yes. Between the first birthday and second birthday, they will eat the same things.
Right.
It is very annoying. Even by 2 and 3, they are still not trying a lot of things. They're eating the same thing. They don't want to try it. Give them time. Keep eating whatever you guys are eating. Have a balanced meal. Of course, don't go and buy them junk food or fast food. That's in your hand. And don't feed them overly with fluids or liquids. So juices or milkshakes, all these things will fill your child up. And I always say, that's the reason I say myplate.org, is because sometimes we expect a child to say, finish one, I'll give Indian example because, finish one whole roti, or I don't know, like a certain portion that we think is good for them. But for that baby's size and weight, it's too much.
Right.
So they will eat till their stomach full, and then they will not eat it. And if you keep forcing, they learn to throw up.
Right.
And what happens is, then they start dreading mealtime, because it's so much stressful for them. Why?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why it's so stressful. And I say it as an experienced parent, okay? Because the kids do not like making their parents unhappy. They hate it. They can see it on your face. If you're angry, you're sad, you're happy. So every time they don't finish the plate, they see disappointment on your face.
Right.
They see, mom is not happy with me. So it stresses them out. It makes them sad. Okay. Right. Then they look at the plate, because their stomach is saying no more.
Right.
So now there is a battle. Do I listen to mom, who I love so much, or dad, who I love so much? Or do I listen to myself?
Force myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here comes your dysfunctional eating. You either will eat because your parent forced you to, and then you'll throw up.
Right.
Or you learn to overeat. Even when
Right.
your stomach is full, you learn to overeat. And then there is another vicious cycle that goes on in a completely different pathway. So you are teaching your child not to enjoy food. You're teaching your child to make you happy.
Right.
So most of the behavioral problems with kids happen because of us. And it's so, parents hate that when I said, the onus is
Right.
on you.
Right.
It's not, the child is doing what is the child's instinct. That's why I love being
Right.
a pediatrician, because they are so pure.
Right.
They don't pretend.
Correct.
They will tell you what they like and don't like. But if you don't like what they don't like, what you want them to like,
Yeah.
it becomes so difficult. Are you getting me?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
no, I
like,
get that,
like
yeah.
I had like this image of my daughter should be eating 3-4 vegetables. She should finish
yeah.
this and have protein. And she didn't. She has a very less appetite even now. But she eats what she likes to eat, and what she likes to eat, she eats well.
Right.
As long as your child's blood test markers are normal,
Right.
they are growing,
Right.
which I always say is a minimum criteria, which I tell parents, if they are growing well, leave them alone.
Right.
If they are underweight, I will tell you,
Right.
Guys, there's something then I go through the food diary and I tell them, hey, you're not doing this. If they're not underweight or they're growing on their growth centiles, which we normally care, don't worry about eating.
Right.
Just leave them alone.
So to summarize, you're saying the parents who are like me, who are panicking because my kid's not eating, is like your time will come. Just
Yes.
take it easy.
Yes,
Let
relax.
them, not force them.
Yeah.
But-
Because I was in your place when
Yeah,
I was younger.
yeah.
But I will tell you, it gets better. Now I'm like, please, okay, you need to kind of stop this now. So that time comes.
So like, the reason why we asked them, elder one, like he obviously, the younger one looks at the elder one and then he tries to adapt things. So
Oh,
like they're-
totally.
they do
Copy.
that a lot. It also makes like job easier. But what at the same time, like my younger one eats broccoli, but I eat broccoli every single time. Before I eat my anything, that's how I
So
do it.
good.
I eat vegetables first, then I eat like my
Perfect.
protein and everything, and then I go
Yes.
into my main carbs and fats and all that,
Yes.
right? That's
Perfect.
the order I eat in every
So
single
good.
day at night.
Very good.
So he looks at me,
Yes.
the younger one, every
Yes.
single day, and he's like,
Yes.
I want to eat broccoli. I'm like, say it again. He's like, I want to eat broccoli. I'm
Love
like,
it.
again, I want to eat broccoli. And then I did something which I'm not super proud of, but I did used to tell Zain, look at Shiv, like he's eating this, and you should. But I do preach never compare your kids.
Yes. We have to keep trying.
But sometimes, for good things, I feel like, but then I always also think about it, like he's such a gem of a kid in his own.
Such a
Someday he will also understand the importance of broccoli. If
it's
not,
okay.
then
He'll figure it out.
he'll find some other alternative.
Yes.
Because they're so young, who knows, like 20 years down the line, with the progression in science, there could be like something, like some small food thing, something like a biohack. It could be like some kind of a hack, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to talk a little bit about stay on the mud thing. So we have my mentality that, not a mentality, but
We
people
worry
do
about it.
say that when they eat like mud and sand, it's like they have some kind of it's a sign of a deficiency of iron or something.
Yes. There is.
Is that true?
That is true. So it's called pica, Pica. So it's not only mud, it's different things. So there'll be kids eating chalk. There'll be kids eating paint from the wall. There'll be kids eating sand. There'll be kids eating hair. So different kind of things. So they have, they want to eat something which is not appropriate for them.
Okay.
And so, yes, so we do, if there is a series of times where if you let your pediatrician know, we do check for, any deficiencies. And then if it is there, usually once we treat them, they get better.
Okay. Awesome. I want to talk about like I did like on my previous season 5. I met with one doctor. He's a obesity and diabetes specialist, right? We invited him. We talked at length in adults, and
Sure.
I was waiting that I find somebody who talks about like you're saying obesity is becoming a problem even in the kids now, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
my two questions are, I wanted to give your take on like having them go to that Ozempic and
Sure.
GLP-1. That's first question. And the second one I want you to talk about is like, how do you educate parents, without, it's not shaming them is not the right word, but like, how do you constructively tell them that let's work together?
Yes.
It's
again one of my favorite topics to talk about. One day I'm hoping that I can just do obesity clinic in kids. That's my dream.
Dr. Bhagwat, this is your podcast. You are welcome in every single season. So you just have to say yes, and we'll make it happen.
So it's such a vast thing to talk about, Halak. So obesity in kids is very there is so much reason. There is a lot of reason obesity happens in kids. Okay, so I want to talk about, there is a mentality, and I'm going to be very clear. There is actually people have this problem with people who are obese, that they think they're lazy, or they eat a lot, or there is a, some kind of problem there. It's called multifactorial. There are lots of reasons why kids can be overweight. A same family can have one normal kid, one obese kid.
Right.
I can tell at their first birthday or second birthday that this child is going to have obesity for life. Okay, their parents are not doing anything majorly wrong and all of us. Okay,
right.
There is just a predisposition, and it is now with so much Ozempic and GLP-1 research coming up, they have found that there are certain hormones that are lower in these kids, which give them a lack of feeling of satiety or fullness, as we call it. And because there is lack of fullness, they have this tendency to eat more. So they drink more milk than others. They have more, they want more. So, and also, before I forget, there are certain genetic syndromes. Okay, so there are certain syndromes where they are born with this defect, which we know of 101%. Prader-Willi is there, where the kids are obese because they are just hyperphagic, which means they just want to eat a lot. So these medications for these kids have been around for many, many years. So they have been on it, and they have been put on it by doctors for a long time. And now with the GLP-1s, it's helping because it's a once a week injection. It's not like the child has to eat the pill every day.
Right.
Now, to talk about obesity in kids, so even though the obesity people are saying, or the community is saying that 12-year-old and up, anybody weight more than 92nd percentile, 92, okay, 92 percentile and up can get GLP-1. I have some patients which have been prescribed, girls whose moms have been on GLP-1. They have been worried about their daughters, 13 to 14 years, they are on GLP-1, whatever. But I personally feel that to put a child on GLP-1 at this young age is very difficult, because education of the family is super important. You are going to tell them, like you rightly said, as an adult, you can control what you eat, right? You will decide, I'll eat this, and this,
correct.
And both of you will go either prepare it, shop for it, you'll bring it home, you'll say, hey, we are going to eat this, you will decide. For a 12-year-old child, there is they don't have the prefrontal cortex to plan, to execute, and to eat that food in that manner.
Right.
They are completely and solely dependent on their parent. Completely and solely dependent on their parent. So it's super important for the parents to be educated in order for that child to be successful. Okay.
Right.
So starting any medication is not the answer unless you have prepared them with good exercise routine, good advice on nutrition, good education on everything that has to be done, and it has to be followed through by the family. Because I see so many times, non-obese also, there'll be like families who are like, oh, my child eats a lot of candy. I say, okay, so is your child driving and buying candy from the store?
yeah, correct.
So somebody is bringing it in the house and the child
Correct.
is able to find it and eat it. So, it has to start with the parent.
Correct.
So we are encouraging kids. So my thing is that yes, we will give it to kids because it causes a lot of bullying, it causes a lot of trauma to the child, and it something stays with them throughout their life.
Right.
So to do it, you have to do it in the right way, without blaming the child, without shaming the child, without shaming the parent also, that, oh, you must be doing something wrong, you must be eating junk food all day long,
Right.
That's why your child is like that. No, there are various reasons
Factors.
that happen.
Correct.
And if we do not correct those factors, any medication cannot help. You have to work on it as a whole, and
As a
then-
family.
As a family. And so what the guideline is saying right now, that 6 months at least, you should try without medication, educate the family, see what the results are. Once you know your child is doing well. So I would say that it is a good idea at 16, like in your high school, that you are a little more responsible and you understand nutrition, that you are able to follow it up. 12 years is a little too young for me. And then again, there are certain, again, criteria. So if your weight is, 95 above, 100 percentile and above, for children, we follow that,
Right.
follow the
guideline.
curves.
Yeah.
Then GLP-1 is not that great.
Okay.
Because remember, we are treating a hormone deficiency. There is a defect in that hormone, which when you take that injection, it puts it on, it brings it in, and then you work well. If you stop that GLP-1, your weight is going to come back.
Right.
You have to be on it for life. So now, when you put a child on it, 12, 13, 14, you're going to give a temporary relief. Once the medication goes away, that child is going to gain that weight back. So unless you equip them with good lifestyle modification that, they are able to follow and get it, or because again, when you are 16, 17, you're on your parents' insurance. We are living in a country where there is nothing free, right? You have to work for it. So if this child doesn't get a job, it doesn't have a good insurance, or somehow something happens and they don't get it, so now they will bounce back.
Right.
So when this yo-yo thing happens, right? When you lose weight, you gain weight, you lose weight, your body is messed up. Your body is messed up. So when you put a child on this medication, you have to think about it. Is he able to be on it full long term?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So what they are saying is, so the kids who are extremely obese or so obesity in America is very funny. Okay. Here it's opposite in our country. When you're poor, you're skinny, right?
Yeah.
Here it is opposite.
Yeah.
When you're poor, you're fat.
Right.
Because the only thing their parent can afford is like McDonald's ka whatever.
The fast
food drive through, because the parents are doing 2 jobs. किसी को टाइम नहीं है घर में खाना बनाने का.
Cheap and it's quick.
Cheap and quick. कौन लाएगा grocery खरीदने जाओ? It's so expensive, right?
Right.
So the kids here, or they get free food in school. So as your kids are little, but as you will see, they have free lunches program in school.
Right.
So everybody who's poor gets free lunches. So free lunch और breakfast में अगर आप देखोगे तो sugary cereal आ गया, orange juices हैं. So there's nothing nutrition. They're not getting eggs and high protein.
Not
breakfast.
like a proper macro के हिसाब से they don't
do it.
build
That
the
is done
dish.
in Japan. Not in America. And then your lunches are full of, high sodium food with like ridiculous amount of salt and high amount of processed chicken or whatever they are doing.
Right.
It's not like fresh vegetables or fruit is there, but the kids will either have fruit juice instead of a fruit, because, that's how they tend to go towards sugar at that age.
Right.
So they are meant for failure. What I'm saying, the poor people.
You're setting them up for failure.
You're setting them up for failure. So how are you going to? So you put those kids on GLP-1, they are put on it, but there is no change in the nutrition. So how are you going to? It's so tough. It's so tough. So I feel like obesity is the toughest disease. I mean, I would take any 100-year infections because I can treat them with amoxicillin.
Right.
But this is like,
it's tough talks.
It's so difficult. So what they're saying is, for kids who are extremely overweight, they are doing promoting gastric sleeve or bypass.
Okay.
So because that's a permanent solution, you don't have to be dependent on availability of medication. You're done, and it is long term. It helps you.
Okay, got it.
So that's what.
That's really good information to know, and also like for people who are like going through that phase, they can walk away from this and try and absorb that information as well, right? Okay, let's switch gears. This is also a very serious topic, and I want to talk about. But I'll tell you how I envisioned, and I was telling Shivani, we need to make this real. I have 2 boys, 2 different personalities. Okay,
Right.
One, we hold him, and I tell him, if somebody tries to talk bad to you or tries to be a bully to you, you tell them that it's okay, you hate me, but my parents love me. And then we go to my second one, younger one, we're like, you don't tell kids that you hate them, look at everyone with love.
Yeah.
So two boys, right? And it's like, I want you to tell me, what are the signs of like stress and like mental difficulties, that mental health concerns that kids in 6 years have? Like that, are there signs? Because what should we look out for? If they would have anything.
Signs are, yes. So lack of interest in doing work, or sometimes even hyperactivity. I've seen that an inability to focus, inability to sit quietly, or inability to what we always say in like emotional health is able to calm yourself. Okay, that's a very big sign. Are you able to calm yourself in certain situations? So sometimes if you have people to talk to. They'll come back from school. Sometimes they will say, sometimes they just keep everything inside. They will not let you know. But basically, it's lack of sleep, poor eating, avoidance of school or avoidance of going to certain place, avoidance of certain friends if they bully them. So you have to pick those cues up. So sometimes they just don't want to, and sometimes we make them go or make them. So it can be a family friend, it can be a school friend. So whenever they are avoiding certain things, that make sure. And I think another thing is, I know we'll probably talk about it, is sleep. I think lack of sleep also makes a child very stressed out or so for 5 to 6 years, you should have 10 to 12 hours of sleep. So if you can, if they sleep well, or how their sleep quality is, if they're unable to fall asleep, they're restless, they're waking up multiple times, that gives you a lot of cues that something's not right.
Right. My kids kick because we live in like an old side of parenting. So the way I feel is like I grew up with my parents. So me, my dad, my mom, and my sister, we used to all sleep in one room until we were like quite old.
Right.
And we felt like protected, kind of like comforted, right? And then we grew up, and then we started living our own life. So it worked out fine. So we do the same thing. We have a crib next to us, and then we have a big king size bed. So Zayn and we all, me and my wife, and we all sleep together always.
Yeah.
And we feel very happy.
Sure.
And I'm in no rush to have them put in the other room.
Right.
I'm like, you will decide when you want to leave,
Yes, they will.
and I for a change I'll argue with you that no, stay with us because I love you so much.
Right.
And in that process, like the only thing he does is just kicks us at night.
That is normal, I think.
I don't know if swaddling has to do anything with it.
No, I think he just kicks.
We taught him how to be free everywhere in life.
Yeah.
So maybe he's adapting to it. But end of the day, like that's also another thing, sleep. But you brought up that point. And you brought a very interesting point, like what's the sleep that kids should have? Like practices like, normally how we do, avoid screen time before going to bed. And I want to talk about lullabies. When kids people say that when they are in your with the mom's tummy, and when you listen to like Ramayan stories, you listen to like good bhajans, like good things, good lullabies. When they grow up, they recognize your mom's voice.
Absolutely true.
And can you groom them right from even before they are born?
Abhimanyu.
I didn't want to use that. Mention it.
There is no evidence of that, unfortunately, scientifically. But what I can say is, what they probably point towards is whatever mom likes, the kind of music she brings down her stress, makes her more comfortable, gives her heartbeat a steady rhythm.
But is it only when they are in a womb?
No. So then, when we were talking about media and social, I forgot to mention that point of soothing or calmness. This one of the C's is, yes, lullabies help them so much. So I'm a big pro for, you can put it on while either sing yourself. That helps to calm the baby down. Or you can put it on with audio, and it helps to calm them down. And yes, anything that you put, they don't understand the meaning of it, but it's just repetition, and it helps them calm down. It reminds them that it's safe, it's comforting, and that's what they like. It de-stresses them.
So that's lullaby. And then what about white noise?
So in America, they don't have apna bhajan, so they will have white noise.
Okay, so it's kind of same though.
It is kind of same
because I like white noise.
Yeah,
I like
absolutely. So white noise, and it's the same thing. It just gives you an ambient noise that calms your nerves, and at every age it's different. So if you sing, if mom sings or grandma sings, who is putting them to bed is singing, they like that. They will prefer that over the white noise because there's a embrace, there is contact with the skin to skin, and there is a rhythm when she's singing and she's patting you, and that whole procedure calms them down so well and gives them some sleep.
No, that's amazing. So we don't have research that they will learn from the womb, but
they don't.
But they do have effects.
Absolutely.
Even when they're growing up.
So what they have researched is, it's always the anti-research, right? So moms in domestic abuse, or moms who are drug users, or who have basically bad pregnancies, their kids are born with ADHD or further problems of attention or intelligence. So that has been studied. So they will definitely study that when you, or even the first year of life. If you are in first year of life in a household where there is a lot of trauma, there is nobody comforting you when you cry, there is not a very comfortable environment for the child. Yes, those children don't do very well in adulthood.
Right.
So that has been seen and studied, but we don't have to worry about it. Having said, most of the time they are kids do fine.
Right. That there are two. Again, like we have to compare and then figure out what works, what doesn't work. Right. Like when there are kids who will like throw a lot of tantrums when they are in the public space, and then
Yes.
another
That's
funny
a great
story.
topic,
Another funny story. When we took both the kids, so I did this for when they turn 1 year old, we'll take them to Disney World, like Orlando, and I only took them because I wanted like really nice pictures in front of the castle with the Mickey Mouse.
Good
And
memory.
coincidentally, they both love Mickey Mouse, right? I got lucky there. But what happened was when we went there, the revelation that I had the first time when I took Zayn when he turned 1, and I was saying, Shivani, I was like, I know why they call this is the happiest place in the world for parents, is because when you have like 20,000 other kids crying and throwing tantrums, and like yours does it too, like you don't feel any difference because it's like this is my land, like you do whatever
is
you
in
want
the
to
same
do.
boat.
You cry, you roll, but I'm going to teach you not why do you not need this. When when you're happy to come and have a dialogue with me, and 1 year old who understands? Come on, man. I mean,
they are just tired, or
I am 38 years old and I still argue with Shivani about PS5, why I should not buy it. So it's a lifelong journey for growth, right?
Yeah, totally.
And that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Like when parents, like sometimes they will go take a harder approach. They will like, don't do this in front of like so many people. And then there are others who are like, cry, do whatever, we'll figure it out.
So,
What's your take on, how do you see this?
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
The tantrum part or the parents who are
the
aggressive?
harder aggressive ones.
Okay. Right.
So tantrum, okay. So tantrum ke liye na, you have to train your child. Okay, my kids never threw a tantrum in any shops. Why? Because they knew mom is never going to buy anything. And it's trained. It's like your behavior. That's how they know. They know like mom doesn't buy anything. They will do a little bit of tantrum with their dad because my husband is a softie in the house. Okay. So he's like their go-to. Kuch bhi chahiye to daddy. So I'm like the hard person. Okay. So tantrum usually will happen. So you have to recognize. So if your child is in like having a little bit of tantrum, you have to recognize, is he hungry? Is he tired? Does he just want a hug? Or was he dragged into this place where you have to understand.
Yeah.
Okay. So they have no social sense. They know that their need is not met and they will do anything to either gain attention or just get out of that situation or just find something that suits them. So you just have to understand so either you cut short your trip and just take them out.
Right.
Don't give in to what they want. And you say, you know what, I know you're tired. Let's just, take a break and we'll come back.
Right.
So that's one. But if you give in to a tantrum, they learn very quickly.
There's no turning back.
There's no turning back. It's going to happen. So, ab jaisi karni waise bharni, there's nothing I can say about that. Okay. And then I saw a ridiculous reel today. Okay. There was this family in India. Bichare bacche ne chips gira diye the in a train.
Right.
2-year-old child. That dad was aggressive and he was making that little kid pick up a chip and everybody's saying, that's how you do it. That's how you're tough. 2-year-olds don't know कि चिप गिराया. उसको ना टेबल पता है ना जमीन पता है कि कौन सा क्या है क्या नहीं है.
Right.
What would have been a better approach if the dad themselves would have sat down and helped him out, not recorded the reel.
Right.
You should, if you want a child to do something, show them.
Right.
If you show them, acha, okay, this happened. Oh, I know you didn't mean it, because the child doesn't know. He didn't mean it. He didn't do it out of spite. जबरदस्ती नहीं किया था उसने. हो गया उससे.
Right.
2 साल का बच्चे छोटे छोटे हाथ होते हैं उनके, क्या ही वो करेगा.
Right.
You make him like, that's so ridiculous. So kids learn by example. If you're nice, they will learn to be nice. अगर आप नीचे बैठ के okay चलो, you felt it happened, it's so dirty, गंदा हो गया, let's clean it together. If he had done it, the child would have remembered it more.
Right.
Because here you are using force. अभी तो तुम बड़े हो, बच्चा छोटा है, पर वो भी बड़ा होने वाला है.
Yeah, exactly.
And then फिर जब वो 14-15 साल का तुमसे टॉल हो जाएगा और वो तुम पे टैंट्रम छोड़ेगा और तुम जो जोर से बोल रहे हो वो उसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. He's not. Then what will you do?
Right.
Where is the force coming? So you have to, the kids copy you so much and we invariably see that all the time. So yeah, so aggressive behavior, I hate it.
Right.
I don't like it because there are different ways of doing things.
Right.
There is always, the children don't mean to do it.
Exactly.
So like even if he's being angry or throwing a tantrum somewhere, he didn't mean to do it.
Right, exactly. And recently also we kind of, I have kids, so now I was flying back from India, right? And then there was a couple on left of me, left side of my aisle. And then the kid just kept crying. And a lot of people would look at, it's long journey and like 14-15 hours, right? And then I understood because his ears were bothering him probably. And so when parents were not intentionally, there was a single mother I think was flying. There's a guy next to her who was also very nice, very good in a way that, he was also not adding pressure on mom. She already is feeling so much pressure is because the kid is not cooperating and he just keeps on crying. But like when you really try to understand, and sometimes you get it because you are experienced and you have kids.
Yeah.
And sometimes people do understand
that
okay, I've been around kids enough to know that ऐसे तो कोई कुछ नहीं करेगा ना.
Yeah.
Who wants to cry for 14 hours on a flight?
I know. बेचारा का कान दर्द हो रहा होगा.
Something might be on. But it was a good thing to see. Like she was surrounded luckily with
Decent
the whole
people.
aisle who were like,
it's okay.
And we understood what has happening. But and again, you if you are so much bothered, just put a headphone on.
Yeah.
Just look at your own screen or do something. And instead
Just
of like
be human. Yeah.
Correct. So like I have seen reels like that as well, like alpha male or creating an aura to show your kid how it is supposed to be done. And I think it doesn't work because another way I look at it is, right, let's say you're giving an example, 14 years ke baad he'll also be old enough where he will develop logic and you will not. I would want him to idolize me at that time the most by saying how I was, how I raised him to respect people and be calm and steady.
Yes.
No need to panic. Panic will first of all not solve anything besides bringing you more harm.
Totally.
So I would want to create a culture and adopt.
Yeah.
And that's so beautiful because this is how I learn myself from like conversations like having with you.
Yeah.
It's like I take away and I like to see, okay, let me try to change myself.
Yeah. And that's what.
Why should always they change?
But
right.
That's another thing.
Right.
As an expectations, we want them to change. We want to keep molding them. But look at yourself, and that's the hard part. That's the hard part of the parenting because you always have to look at the mirror. You have to look at yourself because. Even as pediatrician, like what I was, with the first child, I'm not going to be the same parent with the second child. And, like you said, broccoli, first child, we were, crazy. So, you're just eating whatever you can get away with it. With the second child, we were eating much healthier. So now our second child eats so well and eat healthy food and he will, he's into fitness and he's doing all that good things. But then we realized ki, we were doing it isliye wo kar raha hai. So you have to change.
They look at you, right? They adapt.
Absolutely.
They adapt from you, right? I want to talk about this. I have to talk about this very fascinating thing that I came across recently. I wanted to talk about this particular topic a lot more. It's not comparison. I'm not comparing my kids with anybody. But you heard this, I don't know if you know about this, in Paris Fashion Week. Last year or 2 years ago, a couple of years ago, I don't know exact time frame when it was happened. Anyway, it happened. But this kid who was like, I think very young, 10 years of age. And he's the youngest fashion designer who created his whole clothing lineup. And then most of the money that kid was getting, he was donating it to charity, right? And like there's a child prodigy, like you're setting up an example, right? Again, I'm not comparing because my kid will be different in doing something different. And if he doesn't, then who cares? It's his life.
Totally.
They're all born with their own destiny. I mean, we try
Totally.
too hard sometimes.
Yeah,
I tried sometimes too hard, but then I always tell myself,
Yeah.
look at me how I was and look at me now.
Exactly.
So they will also find their own way.
Sure.
But do you think like this is happening a lot now where kids are developing so much faster? Or do you think it's really happening something with the behavioral or genes or something? Or do you feel like maybe because of like social media, like these stories are coming up?
Yeah, I think it's the second. No, they were always geniuses. And what I don't think new there are becoming more. I think, yes, the awareness is more. And I think, as you will go through, a lot of people with genius traits don't always have, they always lack in some other skills. Either there is social problems or they will have, it's not always a complete package. If you're good in one thing, you will not be good in some other area. So ये होता है. The kids will not always be. But I think what has happened with good care and things around us, those they are setting them up for success.
Right.
They're making them more successful in whatever they do, and so they are doing well. And now it's being shown on social media. Is what I think. That overall everybody is more aware of how to channelize them, how to groom their skills or thing like that.
Right.
So, like for example, if this person who was designing, I don't know if he they might or might not be, if they didn't have the good source to do it, they might be left somewhere nobody knew about it. But
right.
He was channelized, somebody saw them, they helped him out. He couldn't have done it on his own.
And the platform is like a Paris Fashion Week that the whole world
saw
keeps an
it.
eye or gets to know about it, right?
Yeah.
But it was fascinating to me when I saw about this case, and then I wanted to I always like to be curious and think, for a second, instead of getting carried away. Could there would be some kind of logic behind it, right? That happened, and maybe now more and more stories might come, because you see like kids who are like 3-4 years old and they go to the reality shows and they're dancers and like they're incredibly talented, right? Like so talented kids.
Yeah.
But again, like more and more of these social media, it's making world smaller and smaller.
Yeah. So again, I'm not a big fan of those shows, because I do feel that they become, you hear these horror stories. Some of them are really talented, of course, but some of them I feel is done for like the parents. And we see this all the time, right? Britney Spears, Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
All their parents literally exploited them. So in India also it's happening in a small chota mota way, because they realize their child has talent. They're getting paid at such a young age, and so that's all they do, and they are pushed and kids are so flexible that once you're teaching them the same thing, they get better and better and better at it.
Right.
Will they become successful as adults? I don't know. I don't know how many child prodigies are successful as adults. I know very few. So what I'm saying is, I think somewhere there is an exploitation also happening, especially for dancers, because it's physically they have to there are singers also. There's so many talent, but dancers, they are just physically, they have to be doing like 8 hours of this training, itna strenuous, and they're doing, their bodies are soft and so. I'm not a big fan of those things as a pediatrician.
And you also think, like, again, that's why I say it. I don't like to get carried away right away. Even like you said, the kid must have had so much help. The kid might not even, I don't know, at 10 years of age, you can, but like donating all the money instead of,
but that's
saving some for your parents made the decision for the kid, right?
Exactly. So the parent made a decision. The parent has decided. So like, when you think about it, it's, they are so dependent on your right decisions.
Correct.
It's easy to go this way or that way.
Right.
They can get exploited so quickly.
Yes. And I wanted to also add one thing, that when you point up, that in India it happens like on a little bit. But let me tell you this. Again, because have had like thousands of hours of experience. Remember I was telling you, watching YouTube, which means I've consumed like all kind of content, some lot of good, but there's some crap and garbage in it.
Yeah.
Where I can tell you that no, it's like happening at a massive level. And it's no longer like limited to like some smaller cities or bigger cities. It's everyone is like trying to get in that race. And it is crazy competitive, right?
True.
So, Dr. Bhagwat, like winding off, I want to ask you, like, you are a child pediatric, right? And my wife always says, I wanted, my dream is to do something which involves kids
Kids,
down the
right?
line
Yeah.
as my profession.
Yes.
And you being a childcare pediatrics, right? What's the most rewarding part of your job that you do?
Oh, I love my. So, I always tell my kid now that she's 17, I said, you want to do something where you wake up and you're not like, hi, kaam pe jana hai. I never feel that way. I just love my work. I love kids, and I love to be surrounded by kids. So I like my job a lot, and I have never, and rewarding, I think it's just, just letting a mom know that fever is normal. The relief on their face,
Just calming them down.
and or they can't breastfeed in the first week, and I'm like, it's okay, everybody is in the same boat as you. Wait, it will happen, don't worry. And then they come back and like, doctor, I did it, and the baby is gaining weight, and it's so rewarding. So and of course, which I try in my practice is trying to see them from birth to teenage.
Right.
So that is so amazing. So now that I'm like 10 years old now, so there are a lot of kids who are now going to college,
Right.
who started with me, or who are teenagers now, who have seen them as newborns from other practices, and it's so great, and it's like a family to me. So I just enjoy being a part of like the family, the comfort I feel, like, and they trust me, so that trust is amazing. So that I'm so privileged. I love my job.
Like you are like our go-to, and forget about word of mouth. It's just that trust that we have in you. We send everyone to you now, whoever has
Thank you so much.
And that's a very good reason, because we will not risk anything random with the kids, because kids is very crucial part. We also want to feel like, build a trust, and we have built a trust with you with our years of coming and seeing you. And like how much our visits have reduced now.
I know, right?
With Zay, it was so many. And
in the first 5 months also, before Shiv came, I think you were coming.
Yeah. So it's like, like lot of things that we have grown as a parent as well. Like, that valid example I gave you, that guy not seeing us more, and that's all in a good direction, right? I have final 2 questions. I'm going to hold off on my last question. My second last question to you is, if you can give one advice to a parent, what would be just like one very important advice from your end?
So advice I give to myself also, the same advice. And I have been saying this multiple times because I am learning as well as a mother, because every day you learn. And I just say that 2 things: don't have your ego with your children, and love them unconditionally. Unconditionally is a very difficult word, and as parents we have to do that. What does unconditional means that they might not be as successful as you imagined them to be. They might not be as talented as you think they are. They might not be as beautiful. They might not be as strong. They might not be completely normal. They might, you see these parents have devastating diagnosis every day. I see that. And to love your child, you have been given the opportunity by nature to love somebody unconditionally. So whenever you are getting frustrated with your child, just remember, you have been chosen, or you have brought them in, and your job is to love them unconditionally. So don't get your ego in the way. I wish he had done this. I wish he could perform better. I wish, and all of us will have that feelings.
Right.
We are very human, right? As I said, I struggle with that myself. But you have to tell yourself, no, my job is unconditional. Remember, unconditional.
Such a beautiful thing you said, like, and that's coming from a doctor. It's like, it makes more, it gives a lot of importance. And I'm going to take that away as one of the learnings, along with so much information you shared today. So again, very grateful. And my final question: you were at 8 before we started. Where are you right
I'm
now?
still a little jittery. No, I feel great. I
Did you enjoy this?
Yes, I loved it.
Was it the first podcast, or you have done this before?
No, first time.
And on the record, you have said you will like to discuss like some of those topics in length.
Yes,
so we should expect you in the future seasons.
Absolutely, if you will have me, I will come back.
Like I said, you just have to say yes, and we will make everything work around you and your schedule. I know you're so busy.
No, this was great. I love.
Thank you for clearing out time. I mean,
thank you.
Yeah. So, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. This was a masterclass in like really parenting and learning science-based responses instead of just relying on things, that you see on a post or somewhere, right? So I hope you gain something out of it. like I was saying, like you can do your own research, but like a lot of this information is coming from science-based knowledge and years of experience dealing with parents and kids and everything, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you liked it, please like, share, and subscribe. And send this video to somebody who can benefit from it. And I will see you guys in the next episode. This is your host Halak signing off. You just watch this on the Halak Show. Peace.